For my first and only internship, I worked with the university website. Specifically, I worked with Jamie Karen, who was the university's website administrator, and a wizard in website management at that. I mostly focused on a lot of little things that piled up pretty much almost daily coming in, things that I could handle to help keep the weight off Jamie's shoulders as he concerned himself with the bigger things. Speaking of weight on shoulders, Jamie, from what I could tell, was pretty much the atlas that holds up the entirety of the westfield.ma.edu webpage. I couldn't believe the amount of emails that came in and the amount of things that had to be changed pretty much every week. Some departments more than others, but that's neither here nor there. Like I had said, I was there for weight relief. I was sent a variety of little tasks, date changes, document uploads, picture changes, fixing little broken pieces on the back end, and I was very happy to do it. Jamie and I met weekly to discuss what happened last week, what was going to happen this week, and how I should do it. It really interested me how everything worked. I had taken a communication technology course here with Professor Gullen in my freshman year, and I had a great time with it, learning website stuff and HTML and all that jazz. So I figured I had a bit of an idea what was going to be going on here, and Jamie assured me it was going to be easier than I thought it would be. It was not. At least not at first. Starting off, I had struggled greatly with the smallest of tasks. Making a picture just a little bit smaller or changing a document that was hosted on a page, it was difficult. Not because I'm particularly bad at technology, I actually think I'm kind of good. But the university webpage was just a little bit more, different than I thought it would be. Eventually, I started to figure the beast out, and I tamed her like the wild stallion she was. I learned the little workarounds and tiny little things that I could game the system, like the photo that had to be resized. I figured it was too difficult to do on the website, so I downloaded it, resized it in Photoshop, and re-uploaded it. Good as new. As for document uploads, well, there's an add-on for that, and I wasn't using it, so I started to use it. I learned, the hard way, I guess, that website management is more of an art than a science, and half the art was just keeping people happy. I was content, and I was helping Jamie keep people happy. Just doing my thing. Everyone was happy. Until it was check-in time with my internship coordinator. In this case, it was Professor Philas, who had urged me to take it in the first place. Our conversation went pretty similar to this. "Hey, Mike, how's the internship going?" "Well, Professor, I think it's going all right." To which he responded along the lines of, No, it's not." I was drastically behind in hours, and I had to start picking up the pace as soon as possible. Together with Professor Philas, Jamie, and Professor Lang, we found something to occupy my time. Something that Professor Philas and I had discussed before that I admittedly was dragging my feet on was the internship page for the English department. It was about 3 years out of date. There was a million links, out-of-date paperwork, several timestamps that said 2018, and Professor Philas had since shaved his mustache. I'm not going to say the page was a mess, but it definitely needed some love. Over the course of several meetings and emails, we all decided on a concept. Lots of videos hosted, a simplified list, updated paperwork, and a sharper look. Alright, got it. Well, I know I said that I was getting used to the site and things, but this was a bigger fish to fry than I expected. When I discussed the logistics of this plan with Jamie, he was a bit hesitant. I don't know how big Professor Philas wants this to be, but I would say less pages using the path format would probably work best from everything that I've heard, he said to me in an email. Optimistic, but supportive. I had a lot coming up. We decided that less is more, and he coached me a little bit on the possibilities of how I should model, and helped me find a page to model it after. To make a long story short, the page got its updates, I caught up in time, and I learned a valuable lesson in time management, and we all lived happily ever after. The new page hosted 6 separate embedded YouTube videos, hosted on a YouTube page I created for the department. The thing was looking good. I hid it in the back rooms of the website while I worked on it so nobody would find it. One thing that I found took up a major amount of time that I really wasn't expecting was closed captioning. Legally and contractually speaking, since we're a state-funded school, we need to follow the guidelines for government websites. For ease of accessibility laws, every video needs to be handicap accessible. It needs to have closed captions. So I wrote and proofread again what seemed to be a million videos. It took a lot of time, but we got there. I think that the creation of this page was one of the most valuable things I had done working with Jamie here. Certainly one of the most substantial. This page and my internship as a whole served as a very important lesson in time management to me. I was behind immensely and I had a deadline. I had my doubts if I would meet it, but against all odds, I did. I had to have this thing done by the end of the semester. There's no way I could leave this thing half done or even 99% done. I had to have something I could show for my time here. And I think that I achieved that, with help from an organizer, a calendar, and way too much caffeine, and of course, the overwhelming support from Professor Philos and Jamie, who assured me that this internship will not be a reason for you not graduating. I owe them both a drink for sure. As I had briefly mentioned earlier on, the website is undergoing a massive change. Everything will be hosted on a totally different platform. And from the behind-the-scenes sneak peeks that I snagged, I think I like it better than our current one. But you didn't hear that from me. It was one of the cooler things I think I got to see, a little glimpse into the classified future. But with the massive change to a new host, we're left with the task of transferring the ridiculous amount of information that is hosted on our current site over to the new site. Imagine every page on the website. News articles, updates, links, etc. I'll spare you the brain power. It's just a smidge over 8,000 pages. Now that is a lot of data. There's no way that we need all that stuff on the new page, right? There's so much on there that really doesn't need to be transferred because it's either, well, not important or not relevant anymore. I don't mean to be callous, but who cares about a news article posted in 2016 about breakfast with the president? It's not exactly important or something somebody's going to go looking for. Maybe now out of spite, but you won't find it anymore. I was tasked with going through the past 5 years of news articles that were hosted on our site and deciding whether they should stay or they should go, deactivating the ones that had to go. This is probably the least valuable thing I did here. Mind-numbing. Well, to wrap things up, I have an immense amount of gratitude for Professor Philos and Jamie. I certainly couldn't have done it without them. I think that I learned a lot here about time management and proofreading and generally what goes into a website. If there were spots available, I'd suggest to give this internship a try. It was certainly something I'll be putting on my resume, but it will certainly not be a career path I'll be choosing.